Now we will begin the social strategies and storytelling section. Lego does not need an introduction. There is not a single person who is not familiar with their toys. Recent data shows that Lego has overtaken Barbie maker Mattel as the largest toy company in the world. Welcome onto the stage the Global Director of Social Media and Search at Lego, LARS SILBERBAUER.
Hello, thank you for joining this event just after lunch. As mentioned, I'm Global Director of Social Media and Search at Lego. We are a toy company, and what we produce is that we sell these little babies called Lego bricks, and we produce a lot of them. My role and responsibilities in the company is not just social media and run all of the social media channels, both in European market, US market, and Asia, but also to take care of our search strategy. We think that those two areas are extremely well connected and need to be even better connected so we can leverage the power we have on search with the social engagement and vice versa. The same thing about online video, which is also one of my responsibilities, is to drive engagement through, for instance, our YouTube channel that is localized in 24 markets, and also our Asian video channels, Youku and Tudu, and lastly, our TV channel that we launched last year called Lego TV, that is an app experience. It looks like this, and we just passed the 1 million mark on installs. And basically what this is, it delivers stories, animated stories and cartoons to kids so they become more engaged in the Lego environment. But today I'm going to focus on social media and what we perceive in Lego as the core of social media. And to do this and to drive those engagement, we need to have a global team. So my team is based all around the world. We are based in all time zones. So the core team and myself are based in London. Then we have some people on the West Coast in the US, people on the East Coast, and then we also have people in Denmark. Lego is a Danish company, so we also, of course, also have people in Denmark. And finally, we also are building our base in Shanghai. The idea is that we want to be able to drive 24/7 engagement all year round, all day long. So what do we mean about social media in Lego? It's basically this image. It's not about online dating, it's about being that close to the consumer that you feel what he or her feels, that you can respond to those engagement and those interactions right away. And that is a big challenge for a company to be that connected to the consumers. And we must also admit that sometimes we cannot connect this well. We are more like, we want to connect with people, and we also want to build relationships. But sometimes we don't get that far. We end up more like this dude, basically as a salesperson, and we focus too much on our messaging as a company and not on the consumer. And even sometimes we also end up leaving the consumer basically hanging in the bar without making the connection because we are too focused on basically thinking about the future, creating strategies for the future, or analyzing what we did last night or last year. We all know what then happens. If you leave the consumer hanging, then this guy, he moves in, and that is our competition. Luckily, it's not just Clooney every time, but that is our competition, that every time we leave consumers without, that they want attention, without being there for them, then they'll find something else. They'll find some friends to engage with. They'll find other brands to engage with in social media. So we need to be there. So to do this, we focus on three things in Lego. We focus on social needs, we focus on creating value for the company and also for the consumers, and lastly, we want to make sure that we don't miss our moment. We want to be there in real time. So what are social needs, and what do we mean when we say social needs? In Lego, so basically social needs or social media, that's nothing but a set of technologies that enhances our social nature or social capabilities. So if we as a company are not social, if we don't allow our employees to be social, then we are not a social company. We do this because all humans are social by nature, and we are hardwired into our bodies to be social. We want to engage, we want to interact, so it's a deep side of us. And we as a business, and all other businesses, to leverage the power of social media, we need to understand the social needs. So why are people on social media? What kick does it give them to be social? and to focus on the social needs. For Lego, that is, for instance, we have two main social needs that we have identified through research, but also through basically the day-to-day communication we have with our consumers. We know that people love to build together, and we also know that people love to share, to show off what they have built with their Lego bricks. So what I mean about building together. These are just a couple of many, many images illustrating how kids deeply get involved in the play experience together and how much they love to actually build things together. This is to a big competition we have globally where kids are building Lego robots, and you see how immersed they are, and when they succeed with the challenge, you see this image. They become extremely absorbed and extremely happy about this. The pride of creation, what we mean about this is images like this. You see that all over the internet. Kids sharing, but also parents sharing images of their kids. Sweet kids, we also have kids creating very, very interesting builds. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely something that he has a story about. Some adults also make scary builds, and even we have Lego bricks being built in space. So this guy, he did a replica of the space station while he was on the space station. So if any of you are considering building in space, you need to have a playroom like this one to keep track of all your bricks. So how do we actually build campaigns on consumer needs and based on these needs? Here's a short example that we did last year that will show how we actually are using these two methods to drive engagement. Please roll the video.
Attention around the Lego brand and get people all over the world to spend time with Lego during the holiday season. The challenge: to create brand awareness and show an emotional connection between the Lego brand and key family moments during December. We decided to turn the challenge on its head and not just show, but create family moments with Lego, thereby creating an emotional bond between the brand and the consumer. Our solution was simply to add another layer of play to the Lego experience. With the Lego Happy Holoplay campaign, we gave people inspiration to build 5 different Lego figures, all part of a fairy tale, and invited them to take pictures of their creations in fun and surprising real-life locations. This simple idea created a whole new dimension to the traditional brick figures, suddenly making them part of the real world. We even gave it a name: Brickmented Reality. The campaign then ended with a short film, concluding the fairy tale written around the best pictures from Lego fans and, of course, wishing everybody a happy holiday. To launch the campaign, we used Lego's presence in social and digital media. The word spread like a wildfire and instantly resulted in thousands of likes, shares, and comments. From then on, the campaign lived a life of its own. The results: during 3 intense campaign weeks, people from 119 different countries, spreading from Japan, the US, Singapore, and Germany to French Polynesia, submitted pictures to the campaign website. The campaign videos received more than 150,000 views. Blogs around the world wrote about the campaign, and judging from the tons of positive feedback we received through comments and mail, we clearly managed to create an emotional bond between Lego and the people participating. But most importantly, the pictures submitted showed that the campaign captured the true spirit of Lego, and the people were more imaginative and creative than we had dared to dream of. Not to mention the hours of fun people had all over the world, creating Lego pictures together, young and old. Yes, it truly was a happy holly play. Sorry. Holiday.
And thank you. And that's all great to create engagement, but how do we actually build value based on this? To do this, we have built, of course, we've analyzed our customers' social needs, we have our business objectives, and the gap between that is basically our social media strategy. And to build value on that and to create value for the companies, we're measuring value in 4 different ways: increasing sales, improving marketing efficiency, building the brand affinity, and lastly, risk mitigation and damage control. We have been on a long process to do this and be able to measure this and have built that capabilities up over the years. A short example on how we actually are doing this with increasing sales. We have tested it out And this is just a small example on how we can connect a promotion with creative content created by users, and then posting that on Facebook. We've created a lot of revenue. So in this case, this was a couple of years ago, just one post without any media behind it turned into $10,000, more than $10,000 in our e-commerce store. That is all done by working together with our fans, connecting a promotion, and leveraging the power of social media. Improving marketing efficiency, and how can we do this? An example is what we call the $100 campaign, and this was the first campaign I did in Lego. When we do TV advertisement, we have big budgets, but to think differently, to start thinking differently, we need to put some other constraints on the way that we work. And in this case, we used $100 as a budget because that was what we had in our pockets when we decided to do the campaign. So we put out a kind of a competition, or set the stage, and we asked people to build this character, George, with their own bricks. 20 minutes later, 20 minutes after we posted this, we saw George in Greece, built by users. He came to Spain, he came to Hollywood, again, all done by users. He showed up in San Francisco, he came to Hawaii, he came to Australia. This was all within the first 2 days. Shanghai as well. He got a haircut at some point. Some user brought him to her friend's wedding. Another user saw that image and wanted George to marry himself. Then the scandal happened that his ex-girlfriend showed up. And as you can see, the relationship status is that it's complicated, and if you look very closely, you can see that she's actually pregnant. And we had a lot of different images, thousands of images, and this guy, he won part of the competition, and he basically built George, took him on his bike while he was doing a show in Las Vegas on his bike. We don't recommend kids to do this, but it just shows the power of consumers and also social media if you do it the right way. How can we build the brand? We have a website called Lego Ideas, so if any of you have a great idea for a Lego product, then you can upload this on this site, and then if you get 10,000 supporters, we each year select 4 products to be like a real Lego product. This is one of them. It actually came out as a real product, and this just shows the amazing creative skills of our users. So this is the UCS Sandcrawler from Star Wars, and this is all done by users, so schematics behind it, even marketing material behind it. And these are just few out of a lot of products that we actually came out with that has been created by users and then produced by us. We share the revenue with the users. Lastly, just to round up, what it's all about for Lego, it's about creating and building connections and relationships. We often get, or I often get asked, so what is the trick? How do you fix social media? And for us, there's not a trick. It's not just something we just have been lucky about. It's a lot about hard work, be timely, be relevant, be brave, and be personal. And also for us as a company, it's not just about investing a lot of media dollars or putting a large upfront investment. It's a lot about being a person and investing yourself personally. For social media, it is very personally. And at some point, you might come across a posting like this that was done by a mother last year. So my son Ewan passed away in January from leukemia, but one of his dying wishes was to have his picture in the Lego magazine. I figure this is the best thing. So here we have a kid that is, Lego has been a big part of his very and too short life, and one of his wishes were to be in our Lego magazine. When you see stuff like this, you can't think about marketing. You can't do any kind of sponsored post behind this. You need to, as a person, and also to let your staff and your employees be empowered to step out of being a corporate person and be able to connect emotionally with the consumer and make a proper response and be very humble towards the big challenge it is to be part of people's life. That's the Lego story. Feel free to ask questions on Twitter or wherever you can find us. Thank you.